Well, it's time for another random animation breakdown video. Let's see which episode I should analyze now. Yeah, episode 103 of Dragon Ball Z. The animation for this episode is handled by Seigasha Studio. The episode director is Yoshihiro Ueda, who also prepared the storyboard. He has been working for Seigasha since episode 2 of Dragon Ball, since the very beginning of the series. This is Kazuya Izada's second episode as animation supervisor, after episode 98. First of all, key animators from Seigasha are not credited by number of cuts, but rather by experience. It's not a matter of how much, but of how long. The episode starts with Tomokichi Takeuchi's Goku vs Frieza clash. Don't blame me, I know he was old at the time, but I simply hate his choreographies. Characters look weird, eye lines are too round, movements feel like chaotic, and those small lines around shapes are just pointless. Even the background looks meh. Why the hell does lava have black outline? Okay, maybe I'm just too harsh. I mean, this effect is good, but the animation of this part is such a mess. Takeuchi also handles the first portion on King Kai's planet. However, his so-called caveman art style conditions this scene. Look at Yamcha's weird expression. Luckily, from this shot of King Kai, another key animation takes over, who is probably Yoko Izuka, corrected by Izada. She animates this short scene before the flashback from episode 97. This is a proof of how animators didn't have much time to prepare this episode, as this footage lasted 2 minutes, also including Bulma and Gohan's reaction. I guess they thought, fans want to see more fight scenes, who cares? We give them a flashback of a previous episode, nobody will see the difference. Back to the fight. Masahiro Shimanuki steps in and animates a terrific fight scene. It's probably the best part of this episode. His drawings are fantastic. He's so good at drawing Frieza. Maybe the impact on the attacks is a tad less emphasized than usual, but it's still a really solid scene. His trademark impact lines are still visible in keyframes, and so is his trademark shaking. For example, here Goku grabs Frieza's leg and crushes it. Without Frieza's shaking, this would be an ordinary scene. He even spits out blood, which makes this detail more brutal. Now, the pointless filler! The animator here is Masako Mizumi, corrected by Izada. She tends to draw smoother eye lines and smaller pupils, but again, her style is more flexible than Takeuchi's. Here we can also see Izada's corrections, such as his typical shading on Vegeta or that sort of wrinkle around Bulma's mouth. The following scene is made by Izuka, corrected by Izada too, as we can see from these sketches I found on Sakugaboru's website. While I think Shimanuki's previous scene was better, this one is okay, it's not that bad. Just like Mizumi, Izuka's style is pretty flexible, but a bit less prominent. Nonetheless, it's still recognizable from Goku's eyebrows and Super Saiyan hair. The next scene is very nice, animated by Izada himself. It shows every aspect of his art style. Exaggerated and extended movements, slow and emphasized reactions and slow motion. This specific scene works so well because it shares all of these elements. Maybe characters have chubby faces and slow-mo is kinda abused, but I just cannot complain. The second half starts with Izada's drawings, which last 5 seconds as Takeuchi's caveman style returns. I've already stated why I don't like his art and animation, especially the fact that it's really rough and completely off model. While this scene is not as chaotic as the first one, the art is simply inappropriate. Takeuchi's contribution ends with this trembling Goku close-up, as the following frame is made by Mrs. Mizumi, who ends the scene decently. In the following sequence there's literally an alternation among animators. First we have Shimanuki, who animates Frieza escaping from Goku. Then Izuka on Frieza trying to hit Goku, who punches him on the stomach, and finally Mizumi on Goku repeatedly punching Frieza. The next scene is handled by Naoki Tate, with Goku and Frieza staring at each other. Nothing much to say, here his work consists of characters talking. There's no trace of animation. The art looks nice and I actually love his close-up of Goku. That gaze looks really deep. On the other hand, Frieza throwing a dead saucer at Goku was probably done by Izada, as we can realize from Frieza's rotation and slow motion. This final part is divided by uncredited key animators, who don't work for Seigasha. Naoki Miyahara animates Goku going Super Saiyan and Frieza smirking, showing his unique way to draw angry expressions. The following scene is probably made by Takeo Ide. Even with Izada's heavy corrections, we can still recognize some of his features, such as his sharp shading. In this frame, the shading on Goku's forehead is identical to his work in Movie 7. Sometimes it can be pretty useful to look at keyframes too. Lastly, the ending part is clearly done by Katsuyoshi Nakatsuru, as we can see from 3/4 stances and the motions of Frieza's jaw while talking. Besides, Frieza looks so similar to his design in episode 120. Overall, despite some jarring Takeuchi stuff, this episode is actually really interesting. It may not be the best one under Izada's supervision, but surely it can boast the presence of really talented animators from Maeda's team. The best part was Shimanuki's clash on the first half. Well, I hope you enjoyed this animation breakdown. Thanks for your support and see ya on the next video.